Tekiah, Shivarim.
Shalom, I'm Rabbi Michael Singer, and welcome to Congregation Brit Shalom. I'm holding in my hand one of the most simple and yet profound sort of symbols of this season, the Yamim Noraim, the season of awe and wonder. From the month of Elul, which we're in now, through Rosh Hashanah, and then at the last moment of Yom Kippur, we blast the shofar. This instrument, the shofar, has a lot of interesting features about it. First of all, you'll see that it starts in a very narrow way, but then gets wider as you go forward. This is, for many ways, a symbol that sometimes we are in a narrow place, but eventually have an expansive experience. We hope that from narrowness to expanse, we go in our lives. Also, we're going to see that the special sounds that the shofar makes also not only bring a lot of meaning, but certainly for the moment in which we are living right now, I think send a profound message to us as well. And finally, you'll notice that the shofar is a horn, right? So this is a horn probably from an ibex, or like kudu horns are generally straight, I think. But this type of shofar, traditionally a ram's horn, from the Akedat Yitzchak, the binding of Isaac, where Abraham, before he actually sacrifices Isaac, there's a ram caught in the bush, and the angel says, "Abraham, Abraham, we know you're faithful to God, even willing to give your own son, but use the ram instead," and the ram's horn is generally blown as a remembrance of that. So the shofar itself is hollow, and it again comes from a kosher animal, and it is blown without any sort of metal. So one of the things about a shofar is that it's actually natural, and it's made of the same material, believe it or not, as your fingernails. It doesn't hurt the animal to remove the horn, it regrows. The idea is that the shofar itself is all natural, an all-natural instrument. And it's something that is not used like an implement for war, like a sword with made of metal or other types of ways to hurt people. The shofar is an announcing tool. Its purpose is to announce, to sort of a prayer really without any words. It's supposed to move us, to make us stop and listen. The mitzvah is actually to hear the shofar together as a community. And so it isn't the person who is blowing the shofar that is commanded, it is actually the people who hear it. And so our goal is to focus our concentration in actually hearing the sounds of the shofar. So the shofar makes three special sounds. The first sound, Tekiah, is whole. It's complete. It's its own entity, a full sound. The second sound, Shevarim. The word Shevarim means to be broken. This whole sound that is the Tekiah all of a sudden breaks apart into three cries. And then from those cries, we hear the true ah, 9 staccato notes. There, we're sighing in our weeping, in our brokenness. But we're not kept there. We eventually move from a sense of brokenness, of crying, to a sense of wholeness once again with the Tekiah. And lastly, a Tekiah Gedolah, a great Tekiah. We return once again whole. Again, going from narrow to expanse, to wholeness. And so in our lives, that is the case as well. Right now, so much of our world seems to be broken. And yet, we also look forward to a time when we can not only be together in person, but we can actually heal and grow. We don't forget the past and what the experiences we had that affected us, but we move and transition, we change, we grow, we strive. All of these things, the shofar gives us this idea of hope. When we begin the first blast, this is supposed to call us to attention, to awaken us to the need for change, to make us recall the moments of our lives. We say that the blast of the shofar brings God from the seat of strict judgment to the throne of compassion and mercy. When we come together to hear that Tikiyah Gedolah, we come together with aspiration and hope for a better world, a better future. Sometimes we don't have the words to express exactly how we feel, and the shofar allows us to pray, allows us to hear and feel and experience this very visceral sound that awakens us. In a world where there's so much strife, when there are many challenges, both personally and communally, the shofar is a great symbol of hopefulness. It's what defines the holiday that literally shatters and brings down walls, both physical walls, like in Jericho, but also the obstacles and walls in our way in our personal lives. I hope as we're about to hear the shofar sound, that the blasts of the shofar for you are moving, that they bring you back to happy memories, but also give you the ability right now, no matter what you're going through, to know that you are not alone, that these blasts of the shofar that we hear, they are meant to heal us, to give us a sense of purpose, to make us reflect, but also give us great hope. So, if you're sitting and are able to stand, please do. If you're sitting and you can't stand, that's okay too. Close your eyes. Listen to the sound, the call, the cry of the shofar. L'shana tova u'mituka, a very happy, please God, healthy, and a meaningful new year.
Shalom, it's Gabriel, the community shaliach. There is no better time in the year for a new beginning than Rosh Hashanah. As said in the book of Exodus, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, "This month shall mark for you the beginning of the months. It shall be the first of the months of the year for you." ויאמר אדוני אל משה ואל אהרון בארץ מצרים לאמור, החודש הזה לכם ראש חודשים ראשון, ולכם לחודשי השנה. What God is trying to tell Moses and Aaron is that Rosh Hashanah is the opening of the year, of the new year. Rosh Hashanah is the first day of the first month of the year. It's a new beginning for the year to come upon us. As for me, Rosh Hashanah is a new beginning with you, and for you with me. A wonderful beginning whose treasure will be discovered throughout our time together. Rosh Hashanah for me is a holiday of optimism. A holiday with a different feeling in the air. A feeling I would describe as similar as walking down the street and smelling this intoxicating smell of fresh baked bread, but I am unable to find its source, as we do not know what will hold within the new year. That desire to find this bakery and to taste the bread is like the desire to start this year on the right foot, with lots of ambition and lots of things to fulfill and do. To start this year with the hope to be able to return to in-person programs and meetings, with less and less COVID cases, to be able to see all of your smiling faces and laugh together. As a kid, and up to this day, I always hated fish. Always. Up to the point I couldn't bear the smell if someone would have it in the same table with me. I still hate fish, but now I can sit in the same table. But every single year, again and again, on Rosh Hashanah, on the holiday meal at my grandparents', I would find the fish head on the table for the blessing that we may be like a head and not the tail. שאני אהיה לראש ולא לזנב. And my mom would take the smallest piece, bring it over to me to eat. And I would eat it, make the sourest face ever, and unwillingly eat it. And immediately after, drink the biggest glass of Coca-Cola I could find. And no matter how disgusting it was for me, I would do it year after year. I would eat it because it's a blessing, because it's a tradition, because it's important to my grandparents, it's important to my parents, and it's important to me. It's part of my history. It's part of our history. Something we share together, something that we'll always have. Rosh Hashanah is the opening of the year, of a new year. And as we learn from God's word to Moses and Aaron, this is a new year that we will discover together. As a community, as one family. And I can't wait to start it. Shana Tova.
Ready.
Hello everybody, my name is Eva Derby and we welcome you to our home. We are the Derby family and this is our name tag, so to speak, made by an Armenian potter in Israel. We will begin the Rosh Hashanah program on the eve of Rosh Hashanah. We first light the candles, and the blessing we say is Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kiddushanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu Lahadlik Ner Shel Rosh Hashanah. Blessed are you, our God, who has sanctified this holiday of Rosh Hashanah. We also add another blessing, which we do on the first night of each holiday. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Shehachianu V'kiyimanu V'higianu Lazman Hazeh. Blessed are you, O God, who has brought us safely into this new period. And after we light the candles, we make Kiddush. Kiddush means sanctification. And in our family, we like the peach grape juice. And the bracha is Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Borei Peri HaGafen. Blessed is God who has given us the fruit of the vine. After that, we go to the challah. Now, you may ask, why is the challah always covered? So I shall tell you in 30 seconds. Because we make a blessing over the wine first, we don't want to embarrass the challah or make it feel second rate. So we're basically hiding it so it shouldn't get jealous, so to speak. Then we take the cover off and we say, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz. Blessed are you, God, who has given us the grain to make the challah from the earth. Now, the next part, which is what most people are waiting for, apples and honey. Now, obviously this is an apple, but have you ever seen such a cute honey bear? Okay. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Borei Peri HaEtz. Blessed are you, God, who has given us the fruit of the land. And we add, it's not a blessing, but it's a statement. Baruch Atah Adonai Shetechadesh Aleinu Shana Tova Umetuka. Blessed are you, God, and for giving us another year of sweetness and goodness. Now, some people add a few things to their table, and I'll mention two. One is a pomegranate, from Israel, of course. Not red, but silver. And why a pomegranate? Because a pomegranate has so many seeds. And it is as if we are hoping that the Jewish people will multiply as the seeds, as many as the seeds are in a pomegranate. Now, here's one of my favorites. and that's a fish. So why do we use a fish? Because we hope that we will be like the head of the fish and not the tail. And there is no specific blessing for that. I'd like to speak a little bit about Rosh Hashanah, which begins in the month of Tishrei. However, it really does begin getting ready for Rosh Hashanah in the previous month. The previous month is the month of Elul, and it's spelled in English E-L-U-L, and it stands for the following in Hebrew: Ani l'dodi v'dodi li. I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. And the beloved we're speaking about is God and our relationship with God. His love for us and our love for God. Another thing that we do on Rosh Hashanah is we take inventory of ourselves. And before I tell you that part, I'd like to share a story which my mother told me, which I told my children, and my children have told my grandchildren. In an area which is now in the Ukraine, there was a small village called Berdichev. And Berdichev was very, very well known because its rabbi was very holy and a wonderful, wonderful person. But beginning in the month of Elul, he started to not show up for morning prayers. And the congregation said, "Where's the rabbi? Where's the rabbi? He's always here, he's always here. Where's the rabbi?" So one young congregant decided to get to the rabbi's house very early in the morning, and he saw the rabbi walking out of his house in the clothing of a woodsman, a wood chopper. And the rabbi went into the forest, cut down a tree, chopped it into kindling wood, and put it at the doorstep of a widow and an old person. The next morning, this young man followed the rabbi again, and the rabbi did exactly the same thing. So during the month of Elul, how the rabbi prepared himself was to be sure that everybody else was taken care of. And the congregant said, "Our rabbi is as holy as God." And there was a whisper in the back from one of the people who had received the wood, "If not even holier." So that leads me into what I would like to say for all of us, is that Elul gives us the opportunity, a chance to wake up and get ready for the new year. We are in a final rehearsal to greet the new year and to become aware of performing acts of kindness. So to everybody, Shana Tova Umetuka, a sweet and happy new year, and thank you for coming to our house.
On Kol Nidre, we say the words, Haneshama Lach, our soul is yours, O God, Ve'aguf Pa'alach, and you made our bodies. Basically, you are in control of everything, ultimately. And you can find this prayer for Kol Nidre on page 225 of Machzor Lev Shalem. Haneshama Ve'aguf Pa'alach Chusa Amala Haneshama Ve'aguf Pa'alach Chusa Amala הנשמה לה והגוף שלה אדוני העשה למען שמך יאידאידא 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 יאידאידא
Shivarim.